Hi learners, I'm delighted to have Shibam Das, who's the co-founder of Atomberg, and I'm sure all of you know Atomberg as the BLDC fan company, and they are building other BLDC and other engineering tech products. I know Shibam as a IIT Bombay graduate from 2012 and someone who decided that he's never going to look for a job, that he's going to be doing a startup. He will tell you his story in his own words, so I don't want to take that away from you right now. He and Manoj Meena, also from IIT Bombay, are the co-founders, and they have created this wonderful company called Atomberg. I know that some of the discussions that we will have with Shibam will need for you to come back and listen to it. So my earnest request to all of you, मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप जब भी आगे इसी भी कोर्स में आगे मार्केटिंग कोर्स क्लासेस करेंगे या फाइनेंस की क्लासेस करेंगे, प्लीज़ रिमेंबर टू कम बैक एंड लिसन, because I'm sure Shibam's story about how they marketed Atomberg, how they went from a business to business company to a B2C company, how they raised funding are all good stories to listen right now. But I think they will make even more sense when we have introduced you to the concepts in marketing and the concepts in finance. So I look forward to having a wonderful fireside chat with Shibam, who is a great ambassador for a can-do attitude. कि अगर हमने कुछ सोचा तो हम कर सकते हैं. Like I said, I don't want to take words away from him. Shibam Das, 2008 to 2012, IIT Bombay, civil engineer by profession, but working in a electrical power engineering kind of field, along with Manoj Meena, who was always a good friend of his, and they started business together. Atomberg, BLDC, lots of things for you to listen to. So without further ado, let's start the fireside chat with Shibam Das. Shibam, it's wonderful to have you here on this NPTEL course. We call it the Foundations of Entrepreneurship. And I know you're an IIT Bombay alum. And as an entrepreneur, you want to give back by inspiring and inculcating entrepreneurship. But before we go there, पहले अपने बारे में बताइए, where did you grow up and what were your home like and so on?
No, I'm sure. And I think, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to come back to IIT Bombay every time. So I was born in Assam, Guwahati, in a family like where both parents काम कर रहे in a private setup.
Yeah.
Family of we're like 3 siblings, pretty hammy family, typical middle class family, right? Academically, I will say that I was okay, not bad, but not like exceptional.
Okay.
If I go back and remember some of the memories, I will probably say, apart from the happy family days, I will say that one, I was very into sports, like very much into that. In fact, at some point in time, I wanted to be a professional sports person.
Football?
No, cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket. And our home is like at the foothill of this Kamakya temple.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So my favorite pastime was to actually climb that hill at least twice a week. Right? And that was like my type of person. And in that journey, I remember काफी टाइम पेड़ पे ऐसे बैठ जाते 3-4 घंटा 5 घंटा 6 घंटा, right? So that was like the most
such a wonderful life it sounds. No phone, climbing up Kamakya hill twice in a week.
But I still don't prefer to have too much.
Oh, you still don't prefer to have?
I like going out, walking. Sports.
Oh, this is so much learning. अभी हमने आपसे first question ही नहीं पूछा और इतने learnings आ गए. You talked about a happy family and wanting to be a sports person. And you also told our students that you were not an outstanding student in your primary school, whatever.
So I tell you, I was thinking that like how do I, if I want to picture myself going back, how will I picture myself, right? And just imagine a boy, right, who has not proven enough to the society,
Okay.
right? Which means society का बहुत ज़्यादा expectation नहीं है आपसे. You are doing okay. You are like good standard. Neither you are in an infrastructure or in maybe system where you are expected to do well. Like
Okay.
I mean, you are in a family which is okay with your you're getting a good job, etc., etc., right? But I remember a lot of conversations, where I always used to think, and you can call it dream or you can call it ambition. I'll give you some examples. Just say I remember in my colony, which used to call colony, right? There was a businessman who was very famous, right? And people used to boast saying that I know that person. That was the boast, and I always think that ये कैसे लोग हैं जिनको connection से बहुत
मतलब
अच्छा
that
लगता है.
अच्छा लगता है.
Why don't they try to be that person or beat that person, right? And there are many such examples. So I always to probably just a boy who has not proven enough, but probably someone who has an ambition or a dream, something like that, if you want to put it that way.
And the ambition is not to be a connection to that business person,
Yeah.
but to be someone like
In whatever
that.
field you are,
In whatever field you are.
whatever exposure you have, just try to be that in the top 1% is
Very
probably.
nice. And how did you get to IIT, Shubham?
Yes, so I think somewhere in class 9th I lost my father.
I'm so sorry.
After that I had to focus on studies, so I did not then continue my sports journey. फिर 10th 11th was the first time I actually heard about IIT.
Oh,
So
my
गुवाहाटी
God.
में उस टाइम पे उतना
नहीं था,
कल्चर नहीं
नहीं
था.
था,
2008 2007 में 2006 actually, right? So but at that time in class 11th I came to know about IIT towards like the second half of the year, and then I realized I think something that we should definitely pursue. I was lucky to get enough good teacher who actually supported it. My family supported it by saying that actually I left house. I was in a joint family setup, तो वहाँ पे उतना पढ़ाई करना मुश्किल था. तो kind of written
माहौल
IIT
नहीं था,
demanded.
हाँ.
Then professor suggested कि आप आ जाओ hostel ले लो. It's like 3 kilometers from my home. So shifted to the hostel, studied for 1 year, couldn't clear first time, tried again in the second time, but second time it happened.
Oh.
So yeah, that's how IIT happened.
Awesome.
Probably the first data point where the society now started saying that okay, कुछ तो करेंगे. I think the first in the family probably.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's.
And even the city may not have boasted of coaching centers too many in that time.
No, not back then. So I
not back
think
then.
if I remember, hardly like 4 or 5 from the entire state used to get to JEE back in 2005, 2006 from Assam.
Wow.
Still not in the like very very high number, but it's much better than what it was back then.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so already we are building that role model for students then. And in IIT, any memories you want to share of friends, of padhai, of anything? Actually, padhai nahi, of friends, and maybe you can tell us about how you found your co-founders. Up to you, wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I think I probably have got my best friends in IIT. Right, they're still there with me in Bombay, fortunately. But I should remember my first day because when I was coming, entering the gate on my right hand side, I saw the big ground of cricket. And I thought, yeah, padhai kaun karega? Let's go back to sports. But that was there. But I think slowly what happened is, so somewhere back in 2008 2009, IIT Bombay में एक entrepreneurship का culture आ रहा था, right? I remember there was this freshie session which used to call, where there were students who were asking questions, and entrepreneurship cell, ECEL IIT Bombay.
ECEL IIT Bombay.
Bombay was just getting popular back then, and I remember one boy from ECEL actually asking freshers spell out entrepreneurship. And
such a difficult question.
Yeah, and then back then I think I hardly remember 3 of 10 actually did it right.
Right.
So that was that's the beginning of the entrepreneurship culture in IIT Bombay. And if I talk about myself, I think in my second year onwards I started doing something around entrepreneurship. So in my second year, I started a small trading business.
Oh.
A very small setup, like so I'm from Assam, right?
So stocks or something else?
No, it's a silk.
Oh, you were trading silk,
So
Muga silk.
Yes, so it was only popular in Assam. I met a trader who used to trade from Bhagalpur, and Bhagalpur to Dubai was his business. And I said, Assam also has an unique silk. Why don't you do that? So I found a supplier there, traded there, did 1 or 2 transactions, and I figured out it's a very working capital heavy business.
working capital
I
heavy
can't do it, but made some small amount of money here and there. Then in my third year, first sem, second year, last sem, I don't remember the exact time, website development was a big opportunity back
big.
then. So I teamed up with like 1 or 2, I think two of my friends. And we started a simple website development company, listed ourselves on Just Dial, did a couple of websites, then figured not very scalable. Then in my third year, second sem, after the placement session is over, हमने जाके एक e-commerce company खोली थी.
Wow.
Along with one of my best friend and other guys. So 3 of us. We actually raised 1 crore back in 2011.
Funding of 1 crore.
Funding of 1 crore when we were in college, right? And so yeah, if you look at simultaneously what happening was, one was cultural entrepreneurship was something that picking up in IIT back then, and dusra my own personal interest towards or inclination to entrepreneurship was there. And I think the one decision that I had to make was once the college was over, right? Do you go and continue that entrepreneurship journey, or you go do something else? Because all of us had job. So 2 other founders chose to continue on their job.
Okay.
And for me, the decision was then to, because back of our mind we also knew that शायद वो business उतना चलेगा नहीं. But the decision,
this is the e-commerce business.
The e-commerce business. Back in 2012, something like Nykaa,
okay.
Ahead of time, but ahead of time. But what I realized is that again probably can draw parallel from my childhood thing of dreaming and etc. कि अगर मुझे कुछ करना है, so maybe entrepreneurship is the path. Now the idea was, I'm sure that may or may not succeed, but if I chose job at that point in time, शायद वापस आना थोड़ा सा हमेशा एक मुश्किल होता है, right? So I thought कि let's take that risk, and with that thought process, I just continued that to that idea. I think after 9 months, as expected, it actually had to shut down. But yeah, that's how the entrepreneurship journey happened.
I'm going to repeat a couple of things for all our learners. One is मैं entrepreneurship पढ़ाती हूँ, and I say very clearly that किसी को spelling नहीं आती entrepreneurship की. And many of us don't even say it. We have so many different ways of saying entrepreneurship. पर शिवम मेरे क्लास में ना 80% बच्चे entrepreneurs बनना चाहते हैं.
Wow.
And like you, or even many come from tier 2, tier 3 towns, and they want to be entrepreneur. They have risk-taking thought in their mind. So it's a delight to be talking to you. That's one that I wanted to say to you. The other is this thought you said कि अगर मैं जॉब करने लगूं तो फिर मैं ये वो छोड़ के यहाँ आना थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा. I want my learners to be listening to this. And I also want to say from the other side, I've been in corporate. So we value young people who have tried to do something of their own, and we don't see it as a black mark. In fact, it's a very big positive.
Yes.
If people have done things like you have done, which is trading Muga silk sarees or the e-commerce or whatever. So the learning for all of you is keep trying. There is always light at the end of, and it may not even be a long tunnel. So
could be.
Now let's talk about Atomberg. How did that journey start, and was that also with friends of yours?
Right. So I think Atomberg was like started by Manoj in 2012, right? And again, I think it was a couple of friends that started doing this. There was no clarity on the idea, etc. What they wanted to do. Eventually, all of them left. Manoj was alone. I was alone because my startup was
your
failed.
startup you were closing.
Yeah, so both of us just actually we were just sitting in an for the distance I will say restaurant. We're just talking and chilling out and saying that kab kaise kya kare. Then we thought maybe we have a complementary skills, right? Should we just shake hands and continue building this together from scratch? That's how Atomberg started between both of us. But back in 20...
Tell me the complementary skills. Sorry to break your thought.
Yeah, so Manoj is someone, who has सारे टेक कंपटीशन
सारे टेक कंपटीशन
जीते हैं. He was very
focus
like
on
tech first
okay.
personality,
Okay.
right? I was a slightly business first personality if you look at my history of business, right? And it's very complementary in nature.
Very
right?
complementary.
And I think, and if I look back now, and if I think about last 10, 12, 15 years, I think that complementary in a way helped us a lot in surviving those 10, 12, 13 years and scaling and growing up. So yeah, that's what I think.
So sorry, I broke your thought, but can I take you back to you were in a decent restaurant and discussing we should do something together, and so was Atomberg fans the first thing you did, or there is a journey there also?
Yeah, I think that's quite an interesting question, I will say. So Atomberg was never founded with an idea that हम fan बनाएंगे.
अच्छा, okay.
Right? So Atomberg had like two phases. Actually, many phases, but let's say if I want to like summarize, maybe two phases. Phase one, phase two. Phase one is probably 2012 to 2015.
Okay.
Now in that 4 years, we were like a very small setup, right? Between I think beyond both of us, maybe 2 या 3 लोग maximum होंगे. IIT Bombay में incubated. No clue on what we want to do in terms of idea, but both of us wanted to build an engineering company. That was the overarching theme.
So a tech engineering company.
Tech engineering company, global. That's what the thought process was. And hence the name Atomberg is not a very consumer name. It is more of an engineering
That's
name.
That's right.
And we tried it with like one idea, pursued for 1 year, वो fail हुआ, फिर second idea fail हुआ, फिर third idea fail हुआ. And there was a time when people started really doubting on our ability, right? Whether we are focused in terms of directions, whether we are really capable enough to do something or just doing time pass. Right, so yeah.
3 साल नहीं कर सकते time pass.
3 साल, yeah. I mean, if I look back, it's a passion. But I think if I go back to those days, right, it was hard. And I remember, in fact, with Sign also, I have had like many conversations. They're like great support system, by the way. They're like absolutely great support system. But then at some point, they also started losing patience. Like, यार, और कितना करेंगे, right? And then we finally went to them saying, हम fan बनाएंगे. And they're like, engineering, global, B2B, deep tech product, and then coming to fan, many in fact thought that we lost our mind.
Why did you come to the fan idea? Or how did you come to the fan idea?
Yeah. Okay, so I think there are again two parts to it, right? So one is, so again, if you look at our history, right, we're never a consumer company.
Yeah.
Right? हम लोग हमेशा से
B2B से शुरू किया आपने.
Engineering, all of that we had to do, right? But nothing was working, right? And me and Manu used to share the same room. तो हम लोग बहुत brainstorming करते थे क्या करें, right? And many ideas, right? And when nothing goes right, then you keep on shooting down each other's idea. तो हुआ एक बार ये कि it was like Sunday or Saturday, lunch time, after lunch actually. तो हम ऐसे नीचे सो रहे थे बेड पे and गद्दे पे मैट्रेस पे, right? And फैन ऊपर घूम रहा था, right? And it was like November December time. Bombay is like not so hot, right? And वहाँ पे then मोनो दस पे जाकर फैन का स्पीड चेंज करके आ जाओ, right? अब मैंने बोला मैं तो नहीं जा रहा हूँ, अब चले जाओ. And there was a little bit of fight, like 2 minutes, saying that कौन जाएगा कौन नहीं जाएगा. And then we realized कि इसको हम स्मार्ट क्यों नहीं बना देते, right? And स्मार्ट ऐसे नहीं कि दिमाग में आया, because उस टाइम पे हम एक स्मार्ट के प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे थे होम ऑटोमेशन में. तो होम ऑटोमेशन was anyway going in our mind, and that incident happened that pushed us to think that why can't we make the fan smart. And then we did some work and figured out that making a fan automation smart is probably too ambitious back in 2015. But there's a thing called BLDC fan that was available.
They were available.
Yeah, there was a small company, South-based company. We saw that company. It was like 20-25 crore kind of revenue. And we thought कि यार ये एक niche product है, इसको हम definitely कर सकते हैं. अगर वो 20-25 करोड़ का business कर रहा है, मतलब there was some client who is willing to pay for that technology. And clearly the larger companies have not gone into it, so that is still not in their focus. Maybe we will have an opportunity. So we actually did some prototyping, 6 महीने उस पर लगाए, and we figured out that हमारा जो prototype है, thanks to Manoj, was much more efficient than
the one
they're selling. We thought कि perfect, let's probably do that. And that was the thought process. हमने ये सोचा कि हम consumer brand बनाएंगे, market research करेंगे. वो सब हमने नहीं किया उस टाइम पे. But we thought कि उस company से जो उस टाइम पे ओनली प्लेयर्स अवेलेबल थे, उससे हमारे प्रोडक्ट वाज सुपीरियर एंड क्लाइंट वाज B2B, where we can go and demonstrate our superiority at a much cheaper price. Maybe that is how we should take it. And we were like backing 10-15 lakh rupees of revenue a year. We thought कि यार इसको करेंगे तो maybe much better than what we are doing at that point. So that was how fan actually started.
Tell the BLDC a little more. So
So BLDC stands for like brushless DC motor, right? If you look at all regular fans, that essentially are run on induction motor fans.
Induction motor.
ठीक है? The old decades old technology and all of them are done and dusted. So BLDC में होती है core benefit जो होती है वो energy efficiency की होती है.
Efficiency.
Yes. So the core benefit is energy efficiency, right? So any induction motor and BLDC motor, the advantage of a BLDC motor is like depending on what you compare with, but 50 to 60% more efficient.
Ooh.
Now someone having like thousands of to thousands of fans, right? Like in B2B clients, the savings are like in lakhs and lakhs of rupees. The other advantage of BLDC motor is with high torque motor.
Okay.
And that as an insight we leveraged in the consumer journey much later in the life, but you can play with the form factor. Because of high torque, you can play with the form factor, you can make it much more compact, etc. Right? So that became
a selling
story in the consumer part of the world, along with energy. Because energy efficiency in a home environment, like you have 4 or 5 fans, maybe it is good enough to catch your eye, but maybe not good enough to
change your
behavior or fans, right? So clearly only with energy efficiency as a feature, we did not get enough attention in the consumer, but with changing the form factor, changing the design, that really
absolutely
took off for us.
We'll talk about that in just so I had a question, but I think you've already answered, which is fans were really not a high-tech category. It was I actually, fans are there. I only remember white का brown देखा हुआ है.
White, brown, ivory.
White, brown, और उसके अलावा कुछ देखा ही नहीं था. And form factor only in movies where some chandelier will be hanging from the So never seen. So you had a lot of play in that, and we will spend time talking about that. You and Manoj are the only co-founders, or did you also find somebody along the way in your journey?
Yes. So I think both of us are co-founders. Then we found once we are very clear कि हम fans में कुछ करेंगे, consumer में कुछ करेंगे, we started building the core founding team, which you call the founding team, right? We'll have like 5 or 6 founding team members, and most of them were there with us since 2015, 2016, and they're still there with us.
Nice.
Right. So
I think such a lovely feeling, na, that they're.
That's because they have built the business with equal ownership, with equal effort. They have seen the struggles. It's also equal after 2016, right? So I think it's a good feeling to build the business along with them.
So in this course and in other courses that we teach at the Desai City School of Entrepreneurship, we believe that there is a structure, that there is a step by step. पहले आप opportunity identify करो, go meet potential customers, decide what the gap is in the market, develop your product. But all this is very nice, and this is nice to teach in class and to write a book about. Your reality clearly was very different. So you started with, we want to do something in technology. And were you working on bigger robotic kind of ideas and came here? But I just want to understand, what is it that you did not change at all? So is there a
DNA?
DNA, huh?
Yeah, right. No, you're very right. So I think, so we started with a simple product called data acquisition system.
Okay.
Which we used to sell to IIT Bombay professors. Okay. That was our early, easy to reach.
Of course,
clients,
you should.
Right? So through IIT Bombay professors, then we reach out to like ISRO, DRDO, some of the big names. And that was like a lakh rupee product. So you can imagine, just by telling them.
The market's small.
Mm-hmm. Market is small, but very high tech as compared to fan. The more the money, just put it that way. Then we developed a vehicle tracking system, which is very different from what we should do in data acquisition system, right? Then we developed fan, and along this journey, we have probably done many projects, right, just to survive. So products were changing, right? TGs were changing, segmentation were changing, but change जो नहीं हुआ है, वो है engineering mindset. जो change जो नहीं हुआ है, वो है product mindset, right? Change जो नहीं हुआ है, वो है to find some differentiating factor. Which is beneficiary to the clients, be it consumer or be it institutional clients, right? So that DNA, which was still continuing, and in fact, I'll give you one example, right? So when we were building this consumer company, And very quickly in our days, early days, we realized that why, जैसे आपने बोला कि fans बहुत changes नहीं हुए हैं, why this industry was not innovating for decades. I'll come to that later, but the industry was not innovating, right? So
They
we
were
had
not. They're nothing.
there's nothing to. So we had a choice to make. Do we follow the industry pattern where we don't innovate much, or we change that pattern according to what we believe is right?
Sure.
So we chose the second path.
Absolutely.
And just to give you a number perspective, for example, we spent roughly just to put a number, let's say 8x 10x more as a percentage of revenue in R&D as compared to the industry.
8 times or 10 times what others were spending,
right? And we still do it at scale, right? So we are probably we built R&D office first, then the head office, right? So we are a lot more that engineering first, mindset. Product first, then a distribution first consumer company. And that is, I think, is the common between 2012 and 2026. I think it will still even common in 2050 also.
Nice. And I teach students that B2C business nahi karna chahiye, although I come from a B2C background, because it needs a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
So tell us your first customers in B2B and help us understand how you made this transition from B2B to अभी आप दोनों करते हैं कि अभी भी नहीं, अभी आप
B2C. So it's B2B, B2C, now B2B again.
Now B2B again. Okay, so let's talk about that.
The journey, right? So
first customer, IIT?
No. So first customer in fans, but fans. not in IIT. So basically very simple, right? So what we did is that हमने देखा the other company, right?
The company that was already 25 crores or something.
They were selling to certain clients, and within that, some segment of the clients were in the western part of the country. And they're in south-based country, right? So we thought कि इनके जो clients है, इनके जो distributor है, पहले इनको reach out करते हैं to understand कि is there any pain that we can solve.
Nice.
So we reach out to them. And clearly there was service gap, logistic issue है, छोटी company है, infra उतना है नहीं. So we started with Gujarat, right? And Gujarat में जाके ceramic industry है, वहाँ पे thousands of fans लगते हैं to dry up the pots.
To dry the pots.
Yeah, so we started selling to them. It's very tough conditions in terms of, let's say, weather and dusty, right? So we started with that as a segment. We got a good initial success, like 1,500 fans a month kind of number we used to get. There are a lot of stories around that also, but take a look at over some time. So that was our initial client.
Okay.
Then we figured out similar industry in West Bengal, which was a cold storage industry, right?
Oh.
And their problem was आप वहाँ पे जाकर humid बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, right? So how do you make a fan which actually lasts in such a tough conditions? And again, because of our technology, we're able to solve for that. Then slowly we identified large corporates like Infosys, TCS, ITC. All of them have a sustainability goals. So we started figuring out, can we push our energy efficiency to sustainability goals, right? Now, all of this, if you look at from that perspective, it will look like a theoretical,
it is, it is
structured way. But to tell you, we never. We're not MBA students, right? So we never studied back then, and we're actually we should have. If we have a course now, it's actually much more beneficial. But उस टाइम पे ऐसा कुछ था नहीं, है ना? तो हमने mostly just first principle thinking से करी है.
हाँ, that's the best way to be.
But one truth is, all of these that I'm telling you are the success stories. उस टाइम पे उसके साथ साथ ऐसा बहुत चीजें और भी ट्राई किए होंगे जो शायद theoretically was not right and practically also right हुआ नहीं.
पर आपने ट्राई किए.
हमने ट्राई किया जो फेल भी हुआ है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल जब हम कंज्यूमर ट्राई कर रहे हैं, जब B2B ट्राई कर रहे हैं, तो हमने ऐसे नहीं कंज्यूमर ट्राई नहीं किया. हमने कंज्यूमर भी ट्राई किया, ऑफलाइन भी ट्राई किया, एंड वी फेल्ड देयर. बट वी आर क्विक टू कट दोज लॉसेस बाय thinking from first principles, right? So yeah, I think it looks like a structured way of getting into step by step manner, which ideally is the way to go get into there. So if I want to advise anyone, to follow the same thing, but it will naturally happen. Of first principle सोचोगे, आप eventually will end up.
Yeah, आपने gap देखे market में. You understood what was the service gap.
Yes.
You anyway had a product which was significantly superior.
Correct.
So you went and identified जो हम in my class I'd probably call it use cases or something like that. But that's what you did, which is the ceramic industry or the industry in West Bengal. So very nice.
So B2B use cases where coming to the consumer part, right? Yeah. So somewhere in 20, I think 2014 we started the fan business. 2015 was the first financial year. We did like roughly 5 odd crores, which was good at that point
Amazing
in time.
it was first year में हाँ.
Then we did 15 crore, which was even much bigger. And but then we realized कि B2B में उसको 1000 crore नहीं बना सकते हैं. Right? हम उसको 15 से 25, 30, 40, 50 crore ले जाएंगे. So we have to figure out that if you want to really become large, तो हमें consumer business करनी पड़ेगी. And it was kind of a no-brainer for us to not try consumer, right? So consumer तो करनी पड़ेगी, but consumer itself was difficult because you have a distribution, you have a brand, to create a brand, you know, and you need a huge amount of capital to build that.
Huge amount of capital
Right.
to build.
तो उस time पे I think हमने decision बना लिया था consumer करेंगे, but the entire journey of that capital and that itself is one more.
So we'll talk about your funding story for sure, but you had decided that essentially कि हमें छोटा business नहीं करना है.
Yes.
If we have to scale, it will come from the consumer side of the business
Yes.
and not from the B2B side of the
So ambition was
business.
to become large. Yeah.
And I should give you a couple of tidbits now from my side.
Uh-huh.
So I think this is 2016.
Okay.
And you know, I'm a IIT Bombay graduate of 1990. So we had come for our 25th reunion.
Okay.
And at that time, we were discussing what all can we contribute and give back.
Okay.
And you know, the thought that happens to all of us is we should do something जो हमने नहीं किया है.
Okay.
So as and I must tell you, we're a small batch, 300 people. US was half, 150, 160 were US, about 100 of us were India, the rest were distributed. So we wanted to do something in sustainability.
Okay.
And we wanted to do something in entrepreneurship. So those were the two ideas that we had.
Okay.
And when we wanted to do sustainability, we bought your fans for two of the hostels here, 12, I think 12 and 13, if I don't remember, if I remember them. So that was, I think, 2016 or 17.
I very much remember that. I think in
Ravi
fact, I was
Shankar would have,
Mr. Ravi.
Shankar.
I was from Hiranandani Pawai.
That's right. That's right.
And I was the one who actually sold this to
I can
him.
imagine that.
So yeah, I think I remember. I very much
And I'll
remember
tell you
that.
one more tidbit just to make this. Good friends who live in Hawaii, they renovated their house, I think, 2021. So this is slightly later. And the reason they changed the entire house ka fans was because the Atomberg fans looked so much better. And they wanted the remote. So they so tell us, what all did you do to make Atomberg fans more consumer friendly?
Right. So
Consumer appealing friendly जो भी.
correct. So 2016 में, right, when we decided कि हम consumer करेंगे, so we tried everything, right? So started with, let's say, hiring someone for the offline distribution. वहाँ पे गए तो समझ में आया retailer कोई incentive नहीं to keep your product, right? I mean, we are all in our own.
जगह नहीं है उस दुकान में एक और चीज रखने
कहाँ पे
के
नया
लिए.
फैन रखेंगे, ना ही हम इंडस्ट्री से, ना वो हमको जानते हैं. उनको इतना कुछ फर्क भी नहीं पड़ता कि आप क्या टेक्नोलॉजी का अलग करो. हम जाके उनको समझा रहे हैं कि हम इतना अच्छा कर रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, वो कर रहे हैं. For them it is, you know, consumer आके मांगेगा क्या, right? And the answer was no. But we tried this for 1 year, failed miserably there. But back then in 2016 क्या हुआ कि online was picking up, right? And just to give you a number perspective, online as a percentage of the overall fans were less than 1%.
Yeah.
Right?
So zero almost.
Almost zero back in 2016.
Yeah.
Right? That means, in just to keep to a number perspective, the overall market was 100 odd crores in online, right? Which is very small.
It's 1% of the
overall market, right? So which is very small for the large companies to focus.
Yeah.
तो हमने सोचा कि large companies के लिए focus नहीं कर सकते, पर हमारे लिए तो 100 करोड़ बहुत बड़ा market है, right? तो instead of offline, we started focusing on online. फिर हमने जैसे ऑनलाइन में फोकस किया तो हमें कुछ समझ में और आई. तो पहली बात ये समझ में आई कि कंज्यूमर जर्नी उस टाइम पे, नाउ इट इज़ अ वेरी कॉमन विजडम कि इट इज़ omni channel, the journey is omni channel, right? तो बैक देन स्टार्ट रियलाइजिंग कि लोग आके ऑनलाइन सर्च करते थे, फिर हमारे टेलीफोन में फ़ोन करते थे और फ़ोन करके पूछते थे कि ऑफलाइन में कहाँ मिलेगा देखने के लिए, राइट? फिर हमको लगा कि ये तो मतलब इट्स अ जर्नी व्हिच इज नॉट लाइक इन आइसोलेशन, इट इज लाइक
मतलब ऑनलाइन में खत्म नहीं होती जर्नी.
हाँ, वो जर्नी चलेगी, ऑफलाइन में भी आएगी वो जर्नी, राइट? तो कि लेट्स बट दैट इज व्हाट इट इज गुड, राइट? एंड सेकंड वी रियलाइज्ड कि लोग ऑनलाइन पे फोकस नहीं कर, सिंपल थिंग लाइक पैकेजिंग. तो पैकेजिंग जैसे ऑफलाइन में जाएंगे वो अलग बॉक्स अलग ब्लेड रहता है, बट ऑनलाइन में नीड 1+1 पैकेजिंग, राइट? we started doing some of that thing. So naturally we got a lot of attention from the e-commerce websites. They started picking our product well, right? फिर हमने वहाँ पे क्या हुआ कि कंज्यूमर से interact a lot because of warranty
you're a hungry
and everything.
company,
Again, so through that we started interacting with the consumer. तो कंज्यूमर से बात करते करते हमको एक चीज जरूर समझ में आई कि people are appreciating energy efficiency, but they are not okay to pay 2x price only for energy efficiency or remote, right? So some people are buying us for remote, some people are buying us for energy efficiency, some people are just
new name will try,
looking at it but don't buying it. So we started figuring out ki, and in a structure we want to put it, right? So जो खरीद रहे थे, what were the reasons to buy, and जो purchase नहीं कर रहे थे वो क्यों नहीं, उनके objections क्या थे, right? And then we found that design was a concern.
Was a concern originally,
yeah, because it looks like same plain vanilla, right? So design was a concern. Some people had a view कि हम price बहुत महंगे थे. Some people had a view कि remote control is fine for some, but for some it is like और एक remote आ गया है, right? So again there are like many reasons to not buy our product. We figure out कि इसमें हम क्या चीज solve कर सकते हैं. तो हमको लगा कि design को हम solve कर सकते हैं. Then we came out with this, we went back to drawing board. We came out with the second version of the product, which actually changed the entire contour of the organization. वो 2017 में हमने launch किया Renaissance series. It was world's first compact motor fan introduced by us. And I tell you, architect loved it.
It was sleek.
It was sleek. So what happened is कि आपके घर के साइज छोटे हो रहे हैं, right? And architect को हमेशा चाहिए होता है, इंटीरियर डिजाइनर को हमेशा चाहिए होता है कि आप नया क्या ला रहे हो. अब वही फैन बार बार वाइट ब्लेड ब्राउन या फिर एकदम ही लग्जरियस, बिगर फैन, गोल्ड में एंटीक एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ, राइट? There's nothing in between. So that touch of modern minimalism, sleek, slim, that product solved that gap.
Need.
And naturally we saw कि हमारे conversion rate बहुत अच्छे हो गए e-commerce में. We started seeing a lot of interest upfront from the retailers, right? And then we realized that maybe now we have solved the one part of the consumer pain, which is like the product, right? Then we have to now go distribution and brand, but for that capital is required. But at least one part of the entire circle was solved with this product.
Your story is sounding so first principle. Find the gap, and like I said, I keep telling you, I've worked in large companies. ये जो 100 crore वाले idea है, बड़ी companies नहीं chase करती. It's like why spend energy behind 50 crores, 100 crores, but going from there you can become 1,000 crores. That's what your journey is. Yeah. So
I think someone's ignorance or someone's denial is your opportunity.
No, absolutely. Ignorance, one, and denial. Denial is also often an active case of denial. Tell me, in this distribution versus advertising or brand building, which comes first? There are no right answers, but for Atomberg, what was the answer you found?
I think you will know this better than me. But tell me looking at your history and background. But I can tell you how we have approached to it, right? So fundamentally, if we look at, right, so now, very early in our life, we realized, again, very from first principle, कि दो चीज़. एक, online was 1% of the market, which was good enough for us to as a starting point. But even if I achieve 50% of that market, I'm still 50 crore business, right? Yeah. So I can't achieve scale without going into offline. So the purpose of getting into consumer was to achieve scale, but we'll get defeated if I don't get to offline.
Agreed.
So offline तो जाना ही पड़ेगा. There is no other way. And the second thing to realize is consumer is a consumer. ऐसा नहीं होता कि online के consumer अलग होता है, offline consumer का अलग होता है.
बिल्कुल नहीं होते, हाँ.
तो जो चीज उसको पसंद online में आ रहा है, वही चीज उसको offline में पसंद आएगा. If you can solve for, let's say, placement and a little bit of on the display and all of that stuff, right? And here's again the next problem. कि आप किसको solve करोगे, कैसे solve करोगे, right? So for very long time we did both, right? Naturally, for the first 1 or 2 years, we got a lot of scale from the online part, right? But हमने देखा कि जहाँ पे online हमारा अच्छा हो रहा है, let's say बॉम्बे में अच्छा हो रहा है, केरला में अच्छा हो रहा है, वहाँ पे naturally offline का भी pull आ रहा है, right? And that happened because क्या होता है कि product आप लगाते हो एक जगह पे जाके, और उस टाइम पे बहुत यूनिक डिजाइन था, कॉम्पैक्ट मोटर था, राइट? एंड रिमोट से फैन चला, वाज अ वेरी यूनिक फीचर. तो वर्ड ऑफ माउथ बिकेम ए स्ट्रॉन्ग लीवर फॉर अस. एंड नेचुरली अगर बॉम्बे में वर्ड ऑफ माउथ होगा तो बॉम्बे में जाकर रिटेलर की डिमांड बढ़ेगा, राइट? सो दैट रियली वर्कड वेल फॉर अस. दैट एंटायर omni-channel consumer journey that really worked well for us. But what we've done well, I will say, is that we did not spend a lot of money in building the
Advertising,
brand or advertisement on day one, right? We started taking in a very structured way. And
So originally only digital advertising.
so what we did is that, and if I just want to,
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot put it in a structured format.
Doesn't matter.
Right? But I'll tell you how it happened.
Sure.
Right? So फंडामेंटली बहुत सिंपल था कि पहले तो मुझे याद है कि 1-1.5 साल तक हमारे पास एक सिंपल वीडियो भी नहीं था जिसको हम बोल सके कि ये हमारा
ऐड है,
सिंपल वीडियो भी जो 2019 में बनाया जाता है हम लोग, राइट? तो हमने बहुत सिंपल चीज किया उस टाइम पे. इफ यू लुक एट व्हाट यू रियली नीड टू सॉल्व इन द मार्केटिंग. So marketing again has like two broad category. One was like, how many people know about you, which is the awareness part of it, and second is when they know about you, what they associate you with, right? That's fundamental two things. And we focused a lot on the second part in the early days, right? So we figured out कि हमारे लिए हम क्या है, मतलब if let's say a consumer knows about a popular established ceiling fan brand versus Atomberg, will they know us as another good fan company or they will know us as a BLDC fan company, right? We figured out कि BLDC has to be the one of the lever. Then we realized कि जो हमारे how do we get solve for the trust. So actually remember the very early till 2020 we used to communicate in our advertisement that we were an IIT Bombay backed company.
Very nice.
And because that solves for trust in some way in this category. After 2020 we completely dropped that because then we saw it's important.
The brand was bigger
than the background, right? So ये दो चीज हमने किया. Third हमने ये किया कि हमारे जो benefit है we eventually zeroed down to saying that कि core benefit is energy efficiency. So let's focus on that. Aesthetic is something that people will anyway come and see.
दिख रहा है, हाँ,
दिख रहा है, वो समझ में आ जाएगा, उसको बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, right? So energy efficiency became the talking point for us, and we figured out a communication way कि आप 3x return and all that stuff, and trust we added warranty more. So right, ये चार चीज हमने
internally. You added warranty.
2 years more warranty. So we just given a proposition कि अगर आप फैन खरीदोगे तो 3 साल में आपके पूरे पैसे रिटर्न आ जाएंगे, right? So that
जरूरत भी नहीं पड़ेगी अगर क्वालिटी अच्छी है.
हाँ, वो कहने पर हमने बोला कि 300 वारंटी है. So the people have a safe mind in their I mean
mind is trust है. हाँ.
तो हमने ये 4-5 चीजें करी और एडवर्टाइजमेंट सेंस हमने सिंपल क्या कि सिंपल इफ यू लुक एट द फनलिंग पर्सपेक्टिव ऐसे बॉटम टॉप एंड मिडिल, राइट? सो वी फोकस ऑन द बॉटम फनल. तो conversions for a very long time only e-commerce, Amazon, Flipkart, and उस टाइम में one tough decision that we make was कि लोग D2C was a picking trend back then, पर हमको लगा कि D2C करेंगे तो हमारा तो पैसा नहीं बन सकता उसमें क्योंकि वो एक्विजिशन कॉस्ट और उस सब में पैसा बन ही नहीं सकता. इट्स नॉट अ रिपीट कैटेगरी फॉर अस, राइट? तो वी हैड टू फोकस ऑन थर्ड पार्टी. सो वी chose not to follow the trend, focus only on Flipkart and Amazon.
Difficult choice.
Yeah, we made a lot of difficult choices by the way.
Choices,
so we did not follow on D2C a lot at all. हमने फिर वेबसाइट भी 2020 में रिवैम्प हमने किया बहुत ज़्यादा. बट या तो Amazon मतलब all the leading third party e-commerce companies we focused on the bottom funnel marketing for at least till 2019-2020. Once we reach a certain scale, then we figured out that now we have ability to spend on the middle funnel. Then we go to social media, then the top funnel, which is like cricket, ATL. That's all 2021 and onwards. So we just follow this simple process of building the brand, and I can talk more and more about it.
No, talk about the brand, but I'm just summarizing one thing for. So while you're hearing us now, you will hear about the funnel that Shibam has been talking about. But essentially, what he's saying is we started our journey by ensuring that people converted to buying, and then the middle of the funnel where you got larger number of people into the bucket, and then of course cricket where you build awareness. So please talk about building your brand.
Yeah. Well, I think
I'm going to tell you one more tidbit or story. I was I don't know whether it was in my marketing career or even before that. There were some fans which were PSPO. I don't even know what that meant.
I know.
And they actually made an advertising about ये PSPO क्या है.
The very famous intention.
Yeah. So it's like all of us need something for trust.
Yes.
And BLDC is something that then you ask the question saying ये होता क्या है
BLDC, right?
So wonderful things that you have done. But
I think BLDC really worked well for us, right? So people started that actually build the curiosity around BLDC.
Curiosity,
right?
correct. हाँ.
तो because होता क्या कि हमारी कैटेगरी ऐसी है कि लोग जाके 5 मिनट में नहीं खरीदते.
Correct.
It's an involved category, right? So you want to buy a fan, you will actually do a lot of research about the product, right? And mostly online is where you start nowadays your journey from. तो वहाँ पे होता है कि जैसे हमने BLDC बोलते तो लोग फिर बोलेंगे BLDC क्या है, right? फिर वो जगह अपने फिर दिखाता है, right? So that became the anchoring point to do the to bring or build curiosity around this, and then everything else. So I think we just follow this consumer journey trend, right? Talking about the brand, I think, as I said, I'll give you one more tidbit from my
From
side,
your
right?
side, yes. Go ahead.
So in fact, just to tell you how naive we are, right? So, हम सोचे थे कि हमको तो engineering company बनानी है, तो engineering company के लिए Atomberg
नाम है
is the नाम.
हाँ.
तो consumer के लिए Atomberg नाम कैसा रहेगा? तो अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, हमको ऐसा लगा, right? And
Thankfully you didn't change.
so we came out with a name called Gorilla. So till 2019, actually our fan brand name was Gorilla.
I've seen it.
So the first time we raised capital, which was like a decent amount of capital for the building brands, we hired the brand consultant, and his first suggestion was to choose one name, and I think thankfully we did Atomberg.
Yeah, thankfully. No, I absolutely. You were true to your DNA.
So but people nowadays call us Atom Bomb. Someone call something.
Atom Bomb is a good name, by the way. It just tells you power. So
I think that happened in the bottom funneling. I think
you started building brand in 2019.
So I'll tell you.
And I am a marketer, and I believe that brands are built by consumers using your product.
Yes.
But because you are a category जहाँ पे repeat इतनी often नहीं होती है,
you have to spend awareness.
You have to spend for awareness. So you started.
तो हमने क्या किया? I'll tell you, initially days पे भी थोड़ा सा हमें चालू कर दिए थे. और हमने क्या किया? Bottom funnel पे focus किया था. तो bottom funnel can be defined in a simpler way, जो immediately
interested है in buying a fan.
हाँ, खरीद वो fan consumer journey में है. वो consumer fan के journey में है. उसको खरीदना अगले 1 महीना, 2 महीना, 3 महीने में खरीदना है. Now, and our use case was energy efficiency, right? तो हमने जो भी consumers है, वो consumers e-commerce website में उनको हम target करते थे. That was one. Secondly, हमने ऐसे बहुत सारे niche website identify किया. For example, बिजली बचाओ was one website. जो you should talk about energy efficiency in general. So we know that the consumer जिनको energy efficiency interest है, they will probably go into that website. So that became similar to that. There are 2-3 more websites, right? So that became the early days of initial consumer. Then we started reaching out to influencers, like electricians was one. Energy consultants were one more lever, right? So हमने ऐसे influencer program बनाए in the early days, right? Then in the retail shop, what we figured out कि retailers के पास time नहीं होता, right?
बिल्कुल.
तो हमने सोचा कि हम एक काम करते हैं, shop boy scheme वगैरह लाते हैं, right? But
you
what we
incentivize the salesperson, shop boy.
हाँ, पर हमने कुछ realize किया कि हमारा product technical है, तो वहाँ पे shop boy नहीं बेच सकता हमारा product. So what we realized, we started taking a fresh college grad from MBA college, it's like good educational background, and the first stint was कि अगले 3 महीने आपको
promoter type काम करना
है, right?
And but that is the best for them also.
That's the best for them also, right? Also, and a lot
they may not like it at the start, but
I think a lot of these people are still with us, and they have like grown up in the marketing background, in a marketing vertical or sales vertical, right? So ये कुछ चीजें हमें initial days पे help किया. Then once we had capital, we started focusing on a little bit on the meta side of it, like be it Facebook, be it Google, off platform investments. But again, focusing on targeting consumers जो अगले 9 महीना 12 महीने में खरीदने वाले हैं. And then we figured out कि 2021 onwards, by then हमारे offline के distribution चालू हो गए थे. तो हमने थोड़ा बहुत केरला में चालू कर दिया, थोड़ा बहुत बॉम्बे में चालू कर दिया, पुणे में चालू कर दिया. फिर हमको लगा कि ट्रस्ट जो है अब वो IIT नाम से नहीं हो पाएगा, because we need to build at scale. So cricket really helped in building that trust, and because the moment you are on cricket, right, retailers के माइंड में क्या आ जाता है कि ये तो बड़ी ब्रांड है बस. It had nothing to do with you. कितना डिजिटल कर लो, छोटी ब्रांड है, right? तो उसके माइंड में जो बड़ा ब्रांड है, because that changed the behavior of retail partners to us, right? That really happened in early days. पर हमने एक जो अच्छी चीज करी in the early days is again we figured out कि जहाँ हमारे, and we got lucky actually, because South में क्या होता है कि the market is very media isolated market. मतलब
you do Tamil Nadu, you do Kerala, you do Kerala.
So with a lot of less investment also, you can build enough for that particular market. तो हमने Kerala was the first state जहाँ पे हमने marketing पे खर्चा करना चालू किया, which is on the ATL side of it, right? And that state now we are like the market leaders there, right? But उस time पे हमने पूरी फोकस उसमें कर दिया, तो हमने स्टेट बाय स्टेट अप्रोच किया, एंड दैट रियली वर्कड वेल फॉर अस.
आई फाइंड इट सो डिफिकल्ट टू टीच माय स्टूडेंट्स कि इंडिया इज नॉट द मार्केट, यू हैव टू पिक.
That is absolutely right.
Or to pick state at a time for a. Thank you for saying this.
No, I think we have seen that every state, मतलब probably there are like 5-6 market, but every state behave very differently, right? Every state product taste changes very differently. communication what really what today also, for example, if I go to, let's say, extreme eastern part of the market, or let's say something like UPA side, right? A lot of our communication is not around energy efficiency. A lot of our communication is around simple कि इन्वर्टर में हमारा फैन 3 टाइम ज्यादा चलेगा,
Oh,
वहाँ पे
because
पावर
वहाँ पे
कट
power
होती
नहीं है, हाँ.
है. So communication, product, consumer study, a lot of this, if you really want to rule India, we'll have to rule like many India.
Many Indians.
एक इंडिया नहीं कर सकता. So that I think we have learned over a period of time, and we have really applied day-to-day life when we're starting building a brand.
Despite the high cost of cricket, it is giving you dividends for it.
Yes, so crickets में हमने क्या किया कि हमने एकदम जाके again we've been very very prudent on the financial spend. So I mean the simple math was that कि हम किसी भी साल में 10-12% से ज़्यादा marketing spend नहीं करेंगे, right? That was the like North Star metric for us. Now that limited and forced us उसमें क्या कर सकते हैं? उसमें then we used to apply break saying that breakup saying that कि बॉटम फनल में कितना करेंगे, मिड में कितना करेंगे, टॉप में, दैट अगेन रिड्यूस द फनल अमाउंट, राइट? अब उस पैसे से हम कितना ही चीज कर पाएंगे, देन वी आर फोर्स्ड टू डू थिंग्स व्हिच आर वेरी मिनिमल. सो क्रिकेट हमने तब किया जब हमने 3-4 साल का
कर लिया था,
टाइम ले लिया था, एंड वी हैड दिस टाइप एटसेट्रा, बट इट वाज नेवर वेरी, इट वाज नॉट लाइक समथिंग कि जैसे हमने आके एकदम बीसीसीआई को स्पॉन्सर कर लिया. हमने क्या किया, बहुत ही सिंपली इंडियन टीम का इंडिया वाले मैचेस को ही सिर्फ स्पॉन्सर किया. आईपीएल हम टच ही नहीं किया बहुत टाइम तक, राइट?
तो अभी आया है,
वो अभी आया है, बट आईपीएल में हम लोग सिर्फ एड रन करते हैं.
यू डोंट स्पॉन्सर,
नो स्पॉन्सर, स्पॉन्सर इज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव, राइट? बट हमने क्या किया कि जैसे जैसे क्रिकेटर्स द मोर यू स्पेंड ऑन समथिंग, यू यूज्ड टू गेट अ लॉट ऑफ दिस फ्री टिकट्स, यू यूज्ड टू गेट अ लॉट ऑफ दिस लोगो इन द
venues and all that,
venue of those, right? So a lot of this property really worked well for us. अब किसी रिटेलर्स को अगर आप बोलोगे कि जाके मैच देख लो, या फिर
he'll talk about you for the rest of the year. I mean, like
just imagine if someone meet, let's say, some star,
बस हो गया
उनके life, right? So those things doesn't cost you a lot. What cost you is like sponsorship, right? So and sponsorship is important, but at certain scale.
But I like how you saying that cricket was for association, not just awareness. And
awareness was not the objective.
Awareness.
It was a trust, association, that brand, a bit of bigger brand, that feeling. Cricket was not for us to spread awareness. Awareness was through ads. तो हम tactically choose करते कि किसी cricket match में हमने खर्चा कर लिया तो
तो अलग बात है, हाँ.
That's it. But association was always limited to that. So that objective was very clear.
And I like how you are, you are not separating the two. Your story is talking about consumer and retailer.
Yeah, that has to be
साथ में hand in hand. Perfect.
वो ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि हम पहले ये करेंगे पहले no. That is difficult.
So tell us about the funding story that allowed you to build this consumer brand. So first you were incubated at IIT Bombay,
Yes.
In the incubator, and all your colleges have incubators. The government of India has done a lot of work in ensuring that ecosystem on entrepreneurship has been built. So look up your own incubator. Shibam and Manoj's company was incubated at IIT Bombay. And first investor?
So what happened is, so 2015 when we had the first prototype, right? तो हमने कुछ लोगों को दिखाया, and very luckily we got 1 crore of capital commitment very early in our journey. I tell you why in some time. फिर हमने second time raise करने गए, because 1 crore में से 90 lakhs कब खत्म हमको समझ ही नहीं आया. Right? Within 6 months we didn't know about cash flow and all of this. We thought कि हम बेचेंगे, आएगा पैसा, कुछ हो जाएगा. It's a very capex heavy business, right? तो बहुत जल्दी खत्म हो गया. But we got some customer money, some are managing things, and then within 4 to 5 months we again got the second round of capital from a VC fund, roughly 9 crore of capital.
Nice.
ये दौरान में बहुत डिफिकल्टी नहीं हुई. और इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये है कि none of the investors invested in us क्योंकि हमको consumer brand बनाना था.
Oh, they were.
The first guy who invested in us is because he wanted to build a VC fund focusing on clean tech.
Oh.
And he, rightfully so, he thought that we are a clean tech company.
Which you are, right? Even today. Huh?
Yes. So he invested because we're a clean tech company, not a consumer company. The second guy, the second VC fund, back in 2017, they wanted to build a deep tech company. Right? And they thought we were a deep tech company.
चलो आपने बहुत सारे boxes.
तो हमने clean tech और deep tech पे पैसा रेस कर लिया. But जब हम consumer पे रेस करने गए, then none of them were willing to write a check on us. Right? That was like a really tough story for us. Matlab, it took us
And by then you had started revenue.
that is the other problem, because what happened is 2017 is when we started raising capital, right? And हम लोग उस time पे, if I remember, doing around 1.5 crore a month, which was
So about
decent
12-15
number,
crores.
right? 12-15 crores a month. अब हो ये रहा था कि बिजनेस बढ़ने लग गया था। उस टाइम हमने रेनेसा प्रोडक्ट को लॉन्च कर लिया था, कंज्यूमर में अट्रैक्शन आ गई थी। अब 1.5 साल लग गया, 2 साल लग गया हमको फंड रेज करते करते। अब इस 2 साल में हुआ ये कि बिजनेस वेंट अप फ्रॉम 1.5 crore to 3 crore a month, राइट? अब 3 crore a month sounds very exciting, but the problem is आपके कैश फ्लो रिक्वायरमेंट भी उतना ही बढ़ गया,
उतना ही बढ़ गया, of course,
है ना? लॉसेस भी उतने ही बढ़ गए आपके।
हाँ.
And now it is beyond our ability to even
Fund the losses
borrow or
or
fund the losses, और ना आपको डेट मिल रही है, क्या लॉसेस है, और ना ही आपको कुछ और मिल रहा है। बट वे लकी हमको थोड़ा बहुत सीजीटीएमएससी स्कीम मिल गया एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ, बट स्टिल नॉट इनफ टू फंड दैट काइंड ऑफ ग्रोथ। अब ग्रोथ स्लो करो तो फंडिंग और नहीं मिल सकती।
करेक्ट, ये बहुत ये चिकन एंड एग प्रॉब्लम। हाँ,
एंड व्हाट हैपेंड इज इन दोस 2 years मुझे नहीं लगता कि ऐसा कोई इन्वेस्टर बचा होगा जिनको हमने अप्रोच नहीं किया होगा, राइट?
इतने मतलब
सबसे मिल चुके थे इंडिया में, इंडिया से किसी मिला नहीं। एंड द क्वेश्चन आर फेयर, बिकॉज उस टाइम पे आप व्हाई विल समवन टेक अ बैट ऑन समवन हु हैज नॉट shown any proof of consumer building ability and all of that stuff, right? And that is in a world where manufacturing was not at all, cool at that point.
It was not cool at all.
Yeah, it was not cool at all that time. फिर हम बोल रहे हैं हम manufacturing भी बनाएंगे, product भी बनाएंगे, commodity product भी लगे differentiate भी करेंगे, and competing with like really large balance sheet players, right? So it was difficult for them to really believe in the story, which is fair. बट हमें क्या हुआ कि एडवांटेज ये मिल गया कि हमको चाइना से ऑफर मिल गया। चाइना से ऑफर इसलिए मिला क्योंकि दे हैव सीन दैट स्टोरी एंड वाज फंड
चाइनीज वीसी फंड।
No, it was Xiaomi and Xiaomi was doing really well back then. They and Shunwai Capital, both of them came together and offered us something. पर हमें लगा कितनी खराब है, उस टाइम पे वो इंडिया चाइना का टेंशन शुरू हुआ, right, on the northern
the geopolitical
issue. And then if you remember, TikTok ban हुआ and all this stuff happened, right? Okay. So in that they became again slow down and we again had to go back to zero. फिर हमने स्ट्रेटेजिक के पास गए, तो वहाँ पे we got one offer again, not from the direct strategic but from an indirect strategic, was into B2B, wanted to come into B2C. We got the offer. I offer मिला सब कुछ, हम लोग ठीक है, not the best offer but ठीक है, लगा कि we need something to just run the company, keep on going. शादी वादी भी हो गई हम लोग की, सब कुछ हो गया, right? Went back from marriage and figured out that deal also is not on the table, right? So they eventually figure out something, they don't want to get into consumer business, so we again are back to square zero, right? Now we have lost options on Chinese side of the world.
You have exhausted the VCs in India,
and you have exhausted the VCs part of the world, right? So now you actually have nothing to do, and we hardly had like a 30 days kind of runway. Runway basically
how much money you have for the next 30 days or half,
right? And the business was doing good. So internally everyone is like
gung ho
about the business बढ़िया कर रहा है, revenue growth हो रहा है, all of the stuff, right? And I actually remember that day, and I keep talking about this day in whenever I forum I can get an opportunity to. So I remember, उस दिन रात को मतलब I figured out कि अब कुछ नहीं हो सकता, अगले दिन सुबह जाना है and मनोज से बात करनी है कि हमको कंपनी बंद करनी है, right? So we'll figure out that process, to communicate to the team. And that day morning, right, I actually got a pop-up on your story saying that ex-Sequoia investors left Sequoia to start a new fund, and because it was a new fund, तो हमने इनको अप्रोच नहीं किया था, right? And our requirement was like $5 million at that point in time, and their minimum ticket was $10 million. तो आपको लगा वो तो नहीं करने वाले, but एक लास्ट और ट्राई कर लेते, right? तो हमने बस सिंपली सुबह 7 बजे मेरे पास लिंक्डइन में जाके one of the partner को I just messaged in the LinkedIn, right? To my surprise, he replied in 30 minutes. Right, and we like met maybe the next week. We postponed the discussion on closing down. We met next week, and within a month we had the offer from him. Nice. Right, and this is an end-to-end fund, right? So,
he talks about you.
Yeah, so they actually that completely changed that, and after that we never looked back. So
and they gave you the 5 million.
They gave us 10 million. We got 5 million in the company. Sold, asked some investor to sell something. Did like 2 rounds. All of that stuff. Our valuation doubled up the moment they showed conviction.
Of course.
उसके बाद 2 लोग और आ गए कि हम भी convinced थे. तो हम कहा पहले कहाँ थे आप लोग? But we chose to not go ahead with the even if the valuation high, we didn't chose to go ahead with the. So we thought कि जो conviction.
The one who came with conviction the first time
should be the partner. There's one of the bets we made. So I think that's how it happened, right? So I think funding. My advice to anyone is that
Never give up.
one is never give up, and second, I think by the way, A91 had a consumer hypothesis,
I know.
right?
I can ask.
So you have to really shortlist the investors, read about them, and understand what is their hypothesis. Is it matching with your industry and the sector you are in? If yes, you will get a chance and opportunity to talk to them. If you are not in the sectorial hypothesis, then you will probably just wasting their time and your time, right? So that is probably the only way. That's why I think.
So A91 Partners is the ex-Sequoia people that you were talking of. Did the IT Bombay card help there?
Um,
Yes and no.
I think so, right? I mean, अगर आप IT बॉम्बे के network में हो, थोड़ा तो मिल ही जाता है. But I think two things really helped. So one is
actually, I must tell everybody, not just you, the ID Bombay or any college or any card only opens a door. उसके बाद you have to sell yourself. Your product has to sell. Your story has to sell. So, but you should make networks.
Yeah.
The network gets you. दरवाजा खुलता है. The door goes open.
एक मीटिंग मिल जाएगी.
एक मीटिंग मिल जाएगी.
अगर आज भी मेरे को बोले कि मैं हॉस्टल 4 से हूँ, मैं एक बार मिलता हूँ.
हाँ.
उसके बाद मैं इग्नोर कर लूँ, but मिलता हूँ एक बार.
Sure. So and now on the way to an IPO.
I think it's. I mean, we keep exploring, figuring out options, but.
But you are profit making and in
so
the
now we have
like
two businesses, right? So consumer business.
So let's talk about that. So let's talk about.
So what happened is, so 2022 tak hum log we're like head down focusing only on building the fan business.
Yeah.
So one decision that we also made, which really worked well for us in 2018. So we had a choice to make. So one choice was कि आप fan में deep जाओ, which means आपको manufacturing भी खुद करनी है, technology खुद बनानी है, टीम पूरी उस पर एफर्ट डालनी है, फ्रंट एंड में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन भी खुद बनानी है, राइट? वर्सेस यू गो लिटिल बिट विद लाइक इन टर्म्स ऑफ दैट्स वाइडर
other products,
राइट? अब फटाफट से प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करो, बहुत ज़्यादा डिफरेंशिएशन मत सोचो, एंड मे बी लेट्स बिल्ड ऑन D2C, राइट? समथिंग लाइक दैट. एंड वी चोज टू गो टू द डीप, right? And that really helped us, because that helped us in making a lot of moat as we scaled up. Because as you scaled up, one thing that happened naturally was a lot of the bigger brands started noticing, and they became very aggressive, right?
They must have all done BLDC.
Yes. Now, but the only thing is that because we're so deep in one category, our ability to stay ahead of the curve was far, far higher. So had we not done this, I think we would have struggled a lot, right?
And I think it's no longer Atomberg equal to BLDC. I think it's become BLDC equal to Atomberg.
Yes, now that has become the kind of thing, right? But what happened is after 2022, once we like hit like 500 crore kind of number, we realized
how many crores?
500 crore kind of
500
number,
crores,
something like that. Like so, 370, 380 at that point in time. Then we realized कि 1000 crore से हम फैन से बन जाएंगे. तो अगर 5000 करोड़ बनना है, तो हमको नया कुछ करना पड़ेगा.
तो ये ड्रीमिंग छोड़ी नहीं है.
I mean, now philosophically we figure out कि Atom and Berg, Atom like stands for small, Berg stands for large, and it should always be in a state of atom and look for to become Berg. So that's the philosophy now we have adopted in the organization. So what happened is 2022 we realized कि हमको कुछ और करना पड़ेगा. Then we started focusing on the newer categories, right? So kitchen appliances became one of that, water purifier became one of that. तो फिर हमको समझ में आया कि 2024 में जाके कि सिर्फ कंज्यूमर अप्लायंसेस करके शायद हम 5,000 करोड़ बन जाओगे, पर 50,000 करोड़ नहीं बनोगे, राइट? एंड देयर वाज अ बिगर अपॉर्चुनिटी थॉट कि मे बी द मोटर कैपेबिलिटी दैट वी हैव बिल्ट, कैन वी लेवरेज दैट एंड सप्लाई टू अदर इंडस्ट्रीज, be it appliances or be it other. For example, let's say a drone motor, an appliances motor. Can we leverage our capabilities and solve for that? India was requiring that, right? So we started with this concept of a new subsidiary, which was only focusing on motor and controllers design as well as manufacturing part to the different industries, and that is like going deep into motor as a capability, as a platform, right? And that's a different business that we started. So B2C going to again B2B plus B2C combined. Now we have like two businesses. One is that business focusing on the B2B opportunity, and one is the consumer business that we have. And yeah, I think that's
the future.
That's probably the future. At least what we can see. I hope that we can see more opportunities to make it larger.
Two big things you said so simply, which is the DNA stays the same. Yeah. Engineering, tech, that stays the same.
Yeah.
And the use cases have evolved so much so that you are thinking of a B2B business from this
Yes.
engineering DNA.
Absolutely.
And the second is dreaming. So 5 crores, 15 crores, 100 crores, 1,000 crores, 5,000, 50,000. Wonderful to hear all of that. Shiva, my last question for you. Tell us something that our future aspiring entrepreneurs, whatever is advice you would like to give them, advice nahi bhi kahun, so let me rephrase my question. अगर आप कुछ बदलना चाहते हैं अपने में और एक जो नहीं बदलना चाहते, वो दो क्या चीजें होंगी? What is it that you would not want to change about yourself and how you have been in?
Okay. See, I think the first thing first I will say, and I'll say not change and not change, but maybe a little bit different from this too.
Sure.
Is that, see, if anyone hear my story, right? I was not someone who was destined to excel. I was not someone जो एकदम ही IIT में 10 pointer था या फिर gold medalist था, all this stuff, right? So if I can do it, anyone can do it, right? So I think the listeners, whatever the background they are from, right? The only thing that you should take from this session is that if I can do it, you can do it. Right? As simple as that, right? Now the other thing that I will say is that, in today's world, right? Now is the golden time to do entrepreneurship.
Fabulous.
Right? उसमें तो कोई डाउट ही नहीं है. Right? आप ट्राई तो करना ही चाहिए. एक बार ट्राई तो कर लो, फुल हार्टेडली करना चाहिए, हाफ हार्टेडली नहीं करना चाहिए. But what is more important is the quality. Then actual skill. Skill is important, right? But qualities का बहुत फर्क पड़ जाता है. And qualities का मतलब है कि आपकी first principle thinking, risk appetite, your ability to continuously change and learn and adopt, right? Look, for example, my job, if I look at Atomberg, the first job was to an admin manager, right? बैंक अकाउंट खोलना, छोटे छोटे इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज करना, फिर धीरे धीरे सेल्स, फिर मार्केटिंग, फिर फाइनेंस, राइट, एचआर, एंड आई हैव लर्नड एवरीथिंग इन द जर्नी, राइट. वो सीख सकते हो आप, ऐसा कोई भी चीज़ नहीं सीख सकते, बट आपको थोड़ा चेंज करते रहना पड़ेगा, राइट. So yeah, I think golden time to start entrepreneurship. You should definitely do that. Focus on qualities a lot more. If you have qualities now with AI and everything, the knowledge base and the skill base is, there will not be it's a lot more level playing field. मान लो कि let's say आज
आप गुवाहाटी में हो
या आप किसी ऐसा स्कूल में हो जहाँ पे बहुत एक्सपोजर है, with the help of AI, it's a matter of an hour difference, not matter of years difference, right?
And so on.
So that has given opportunity for everyone to start, right, and start using that tool, technology in your favor, right? And yeah, I think that's about it. What you should not change about yourself is
dreaming.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Dreaming and being ambitious. I think people, India at least today, needs a lot of ambitious people, right? तो द रिस्क एपेटाइट थोड़ी सी बढ़नी चाहिए. कैपिटल बहुत अवेलेबल है.
कैपिटल है,
बहुत अवेलेबल है. कैपिटल
बहुत अवेलेबल है.
यस, कैपिटल अवेलेबल है. सपोर्ट लाइक इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स. तो इफ यू डोंट become entrepreneur now,
then when?
आपके बच्चे तो नहीं कर पाएंगे तब तक. The opportunity will be different, right? But today definitely people can do.
Thank you. This was wonderful, Shubham. Thank you so much. Yeah.